All right, Brad, I want to congratulate you on your new machine here. I love this car, 73 Corvette. I've done some work on it in the past under the front end and stuff, and now you've got it, and yeah, I really like the color. I like everything about this car. Pretty impressive. But something was going on this rear axle on this side when I come over and test drove it. You can feel it moving around, and even though all those parts are new under there, basically a lot of times some of these parts sit on the shelves for a while and then they get sold and then they're dry rotted. Well, most all the new bushings back there are actually dry rotting and just coming out. So I'll give you a closer look at what I've got going underneath the car and what I found on it's over on the shelf. All right, Brad, this is your rear control arm and spindle, and the bushing that goes right up here at the front of the control arm into the frame, it was just all out of there. So this piece was just flopping like that, and the bushing is just dry rotted. It just crumbles to pieces. So I'm pretty sure the other one's the same way. I could see up in there. And then the same in these, even though they look fairly new, the bushings are just crumbled in there. So I've got these ordered. They're going to be a while, but should be getting these bushings today, hopefully. And I could get all this back together and probably put these back on and make it where you can use this weekend, because these aren't going to be here for another week or so. And then the axle, let's see how the axle looks. Before I throw it back in there, I think I'll wash it in Purple Power, pre-clean it up real good, scuff it, prime it, and repaint it silver. It's kind of getting rusty a little bit. And same for the up there at the rear axle where it bolts on. That one's kind of rusty, and I'm going to just touch that up and repaint that and clean this stuff up as I put it back in there. So that's what I've got going right here. I'll show you what it looks like underneath the car. Before I get this thing raised up in there, I want to show you on the engine bay here, there's a trouble with this belt slipping on the engine. And talking to Corvette Central, they were telling me about a belt and a tensioner system that made it drive the water pump right off the crankshaft and use that first groove there, and then everything powered off of that. So I've got that ordered, and once all that comes in, I'll put all that on, and we'll see if we can't get that belt squeak to go away. Because as it is right now, you've got one small belt that pulls everything: water pump, alternator, and power steering, and it's killing it. All right, Brad, I want to just show you under here. Everything looks pretty nice under here. I just wanted to clean up this axle stub here and paint it silver, and the rest of it is detailed up pretty nice. And I'll just reuse the bolt, and your brakes and caliper and all that look good underneath here. Real nice car. Look at your parts. Let's see, I'll get all that cleaned up and washed and scuffed and pre-cleaned and repainted, and that'll look really nice under there. And those old bushings just falling apart. It's falling apart. Somebody had this great the red Loctite on those. Like, never got those out. But I'd like to change those out. I'll probably put some new grade 8s and some new lock nuts on that. I've got this piece just tack welded in. I'll just spray that black, and hopefully that'll get to your show until the other parts can come in where you can use this thing. And then this, I'll just clean this up a little bit. Probably paint that black around there. Clean up the shoes. There's a little black overspray here. Clean some of that up, but not spend a lot on it. The arm on it already looks powder coated. Maybe it's hard to say if that's powder coated or not, but it's on there pretty good. So I'll just clean it up. Yeah, I've got this axle stub here. I've treated that with the Pickle X20, which neutralizes that rust. So then I'm going to scuff that off and paint that silver. And while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and check that fluid. I know I've checked it last time. I thought it was here, but you can never be too sure. Make sure fluid's full. And then the caps that came off of it, they were just metal, no treatment on them. And so I'll paint these silver too. So I've treated them also with the Pickle X. That'll neutralize that rust, and then I can clean those up and paint those. These are the bolts for those. I'll probably get grade 8s. They'll be gold, look better. They're grade 5. And get these in new grade 8s, because these look so rusty, and somebody's Loctited them in there, and a brand new set of grade 8s and lock nuts will do it justice in that area. And then out here, this stuff I have washed and purpled, and I've actually scuffed this one a little bit and pre-cleaned it and loosened the joints. The U-joint in the back was a little tighter on that back pivot, and so I was able to let that with a hammer and tap it, let that relieve that pressure, and now it is so smooth. But before it had a little bit of a crunk to it. where it was tighter on that one. So that thing I do a lot better. And then fixing to get it here, I'm getting it drying out, warming up to paint. And this I'm going to leave it like it is, just get a little bit of that overspray off the front of it. But it looks pretty good. Put a little black on that face. I'm going to show you the difference in the quality of your parts here. This is what come out of it, and I'm not sure. It's a lot of pieces, and just all the rubber's gone out of it. And then this is more the factory style, where I'll press this in one side, press that in the other side, and that is way stronger, way better. This will last a long time. I don't know if you can see how good that's going to look, but when I get those pressed in there, that'll be there for a while. And then I've already cleaned this up and washed it and put some edge primer on this, and then painted that black and cleaned the paint off of this. And I think this is pretty good to go back in. Once I get these pressed in, I want to show you how the drive shaft is looking. Alright, so in here in the booth, this drive shaft, I have washed it, sanded it, pre-cleaned it, etched in here where the rust was down in here, and then put the primer on it and 3 coats of silver. And then same for these little caps right here. And that looks so much better, and that's pretty good little deal there. And then underneath your car, I've checked that axle fluid, and it is full. And then now you can see how much better that looks. And I did it the same way. I pickled it and then primed it and then painted it right here. Masked all this off and painted it. Check that fluid right there. But that looks a lot better. All right, Brad, I just want to show you once again how good this is. These bushings compared to what come out, this stuff, are so much better. So I've got these pressed in like that right now in here, and just the quality and how healthy that is, that's going to be in there a long time. And then on these link bars, which we're not going to be able to get them in time for the show this weekend, or where you're going this weekend, I went ahead and just tack welded these in place. So these are brand new, and for whatever reason the bushing's a little loose in there, but now I've got them tacked in place, and I painted black, and this will work. This will probably work forever like this, but we got new ones coming, and hopefully they're not the same way, because these were new aftermarket. But anyway, I'm very impressed with the quality of these bushings in the front of these. I doubt you'll ever have a problem with those again. I've got all this side in. I'm waiting on some bolts, but you can see up in there now how nice all that looks. All that was rusty, and I've treated it and primed it and painted it and put in brand new grade 8 bolts. It looks way better than it did. And then on this side it'll be the same. I'm waiting on some bolts to come in. I went to town. I went to 3 different stores, and I only found 2 of these grade 8 7/16 bolts. So I've ordered some more, and they should be here today, and then I'll put all those in. So that brand new grade 8 bolts there, the ones before were rusty and red Loctited in place. Then up here where your brake cable is, when I took your parking brake loose, this bracket just fell off. So the bolts that went into here stripped out. So I'm going to drill that out and put in the rivet nuts and re-secure that how it's supposed to be. And let's see about this side. This side is tight, so I won't have to mess with that side. But yeah, this one just fell off. And then in here you can kind of see how all that looked before, and they've got these red Loctited in. It'll be hard to get those out, but I'm gonna go ahead and get those out and put the new bolts in. And you can see how the ends of these caps look. I've cleaned up all that and repainted that axle, and you can see how much better that looks, all cleaned up and painted. Yeah, good this turned out. These were stripped out, had a 5/16 self-tapping screws in there, and they were so stripped out the screw they just fell out. I don't even know what was holding it up in there. I could either welded that up and then re-tapped it, which would have been more than we could do here. Instead, I've just drilled it out a little bit more and put a rivet nut in there. And those are treated, zinc treated, pretty solid 5/16, and that will not get loose again. That'll fix that. So yeah, it turned out real nice. I drilled the holes and come back and touched up the black paint around the hole, so hopefully it'll slow down any rusting, and then put this bracket back on. Alright, Brad, now you can see how solid a repair that is. That is on there, and just so happens I had one of the little clips that it needs. This one was missing, and it takes that little round spring clip for it. But yeah, those up in there, and that is rock solid. Good repair right there. got the driver's side out now, and it's a good thing we took it apart, because the same way it looks like a brand new bushing. It hadn't been that long, but the bushing itself is just falling to pieces. So I can go in there and just dig it out, and it was falling down in there's a little place up underneath there, and there's pieces of it already all in there. So this one is all but gone on the outside, and that one you can see is gone all down through here. So it wouldn't have been long, this one would have come loose too, and it'd have been slopping around even worse. Like I showed you before, this is what I'm putting in there. So these are factory, and they go in on each side, and it seems to be a way better solid repair than what they put in there. And anyway, then on this here, these bushings are the same way. So this end is still somewhat good, it's still in there. So we can run that to get you to the reunion. And then this side over here, it just fell out completely. I have some rubber that's the exact thickness of that right there. So I'll just have to I'll just cut a little slot out of this and make it the exact same size, and then slip this back on it, and then I have to press it in. I've already done the one side. It's so tight I actually pressed it in, so it made a pretty good repair, but it'll get us by a few weeks for our new ones come in. But all of them underneath there were just so dry rotted and cracked, it's amazing. So now I'm gonna get this out. I'm gonna wash this, wash the drive shaft, wash all these parts up, do the same thing to this drive shaft as I did to the other drive shaft and the inner half shaft, and get all that painted, get all that put back in, tack weld. Let me go get this part. This other sway bar link is the same way, so this bushing just falls out of it. So it's just on there, and this thing just going back and forth, back and forth. I was able to tack weld it in 3 places and then just cool it off real quick so it didn't hurt the rubber, and paint it and put the one on this side. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the other side. This will get you going, and then hopefully our new ones will come, and these will be nice and tight, because these aren't that old. I don't know why they're that loose in there, but that'll get you going for this weekend. I'm gonna show you what I was doing to these rods to get us by for a couple of weeks. This end of it, the bushing is somewhat still in there, and this one was completely gone. So I was able to reline this one. I had some rubber that was the exact size of that and press that in there, and you can see how good that is. So that's definitely going to get us by for a little bit of time here until the new ones come in. Then we'll put the new ones in place. And here's the piece that is I've tack welded, and it's painted, ready to go back in. That'll work pretty good. And then in here is the drive shaft. And I have prep, prime, painted it, and the caps. Looks a lot better. Well, Brad, that's the first test run, and it feels so smooth. I'm gonna pull it back in, delete all your brakes, and then check the alignment one more time. I've got some special orders, some grade 8 bolts for it that should be here in a minute. I'm gonna put all them in the axle, and then this will be done to get you to your show, your event, and then hopefully our other parts come in and get those put in here. Because right now it is so smooth, just great. All right, Brad, I think I'm about done with this thing. It seems like every time I'm about done, I find something else and do a little something else here and there. And I've probably done another 2 or 3 hours just tinkering with it. I went ahead and blew it all off and cleaned it off and went over it with a McGuire's detail. I Windexed your wheels and cleaned your wheels and tires. I'm charging your battery. Your battery's got a little bit of an issue, but I think it's because of that belt. It's slipping. I checked your charging system. It was putting out about 12.2, and then it started squealing. So I think once we get that belt stuff in that's ordered and on, that's gonna, and may have to get a new battery, because this battery's been abused quite a bit of it, constant running down. It was at 11 something earlier today, but that's where I've driven it. I've driven it a bunch this morning, getting that front end alignment, and just letting the car settle. Did a bunch of runs on it with the rear end to make sure all that's good, and check brake temps every time I come in. This brake temperature was just a little bit high when first time I drove it, So I'm not sure if that other side just maybe had something on it or need to be rebled. So I went ahead and rebled it and rebled the master, drove it again, and it seemed to be pretty close now, maybe just a little bit warmer, but we'll keep an eye on that. But the brakes feel great. It's driving great. I've got the rear wheel sitting pretty much straight up right now. And I've got those old bushings in there that I've had to make some for temporary. But once the new shafts come, it comes with all that, and I just put them right up in there and bolt them in. And but it really feels good and tight on the back end of it. Then on the front end of it, it felt still a little bit loose. But where I'd done the front end on this a while back, it's settled a little bit, so it let me get a little more caster angle in it. Before I couldn't get much caster angle in it because I was kind of the end of my adjustments on my upper control arms. So now that it's settled a little bit, I was able to take some out in the front because I've got them maxed in about as far as they'll go. And I was able to take some out the front on this side, some of the front on that side. I've got about 3 degrees in it, caster angle now, and then reset the toe and reset the steering wheel, and I reset the camber as well. By doing that, you know, I brought that wheel out just a little bit, so it made it look better, feel better. It drives so good. I noticed the tilt. It's got some bolts around the tilt area and the steering column that get loose. And being yours is extended, that could be why they're loose, but that's going to come down some point in time and tighten that tilt because it's just going to gradually get looser. And I think that's about it. We get the alternator stuff squared away and the battery stuff squared away, and then those new parts that are coming, I had to order a bunch of bolts because I changed your axle bolts to grade 8, and the other ones will be here pretty soon. And I think that's about it. I noticed your gas gauge is off a little bit, and that'd be something we could talk about and maybe adjust later if you want to get your gas gauge working. Because when I started driving this morning, it was at 0, I mean completely E, but it had about 5 gallons or so. So I went and got 5 more, and it just put it up to maybe a quarter-ish on the gauge. And there was more things, I can't remember what it is right now, but I've got it right on the list. So other than that, I've driven it a bunch today, feels real good, and I think she's ready to come home.